Canada is one of the richest countries in terms of land and natural resources. Yet, its citizens face some of the highest housing costs in the world. Why are Canadians paying so much more for homes than our neighbors in the US? Let's explore the underlying paradoxes of this problem and understand why housing is becoming unaffordable for so many.
Ask Marco.
Hi, I'm Marco Momeni, and for over the last 23 years, I've helped people navigate the Toronto real estate market. If you are looking for straight answers and honest advice, you're in the right place. Want more insight like this? Make sure to hit the subscribe button for weekly updates on the market and ask Marco if you have any questions. So what's happening here? Canada has vast land and resources, yet housing costs are almost double those in the US. This isn't just a coincidence. Our housing market is caught between bad policies, lack of supply, and a skyrocketing demand. It feels absurd to many Canadians. With so much land, why is it so hard to afford a place to live? We're going to explore a few reasons why this has happened: policy mismanagement, supply and demand, and international influences on our economy. One of the biggest drivers behind high housing costs is policy mismanagement. Over the years, we've seen government decisions that, instead of addressing the real issues, have worsened the problem. For example, changes in mortgage rules have allowed buyers to qualify for higher loans. While that seems great on the surface, it drives up demand, pushing home prices even higher. At the same time, restrictions on development, whether due to environmental policies, zoning laws, or land use regulations, limit the supply of new homes. Fewer homes available means more competition for what's left, which naturally drives up prices. When demand increases but supply remains limited, housing prices soar. And that's exactly what we're experiencing in Canada right now. Let's talk about demand for a moment. Canada has one of the highest immigration rates in the world, and many of these new Canadians settle in major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. This rapidly growing population puts more pressure on the housing market. But here's the problem. While our population is growing, the housing market and housing supply isn't keeping up. Developers face bureaucratic inefficiencies, long approval processes, and high costs, all of which slow down the construction of new homes. Combine that with a strong economy attracting foreign investors, and we see housing prices rise as demand exceeds supply. We're building homes, but not fast enough to meet the demand. Now let's shift gears for a moment. Canada is rich in resources: oil, timber, fresh water, you name it. But we're not seeing the benefits reflected in our economy, and certainly not in our housing market. In fact, we're selling our natural resources like oil to other countries at a discount. We sell oil to the US at about $15 to $20 per barrel discount. They refine it, make a profit, and resell it, while Canadians pay higher prices. It's the mismanagement of wealth. Canada has the resources to be a global leader, yet we're stuck in this paradox where we are underutilizing our natural advantages. This means everything from the cost of living to the housing market. Instead of using our wealth to build a prosperous economy, we're watching as prices rise and opportunities diminish. We're seeing this play out most dramatically in provinces like British Columbia and Alberta. On the one hand, there is the push for environmental policies that aim to protect land and reduce carbon footprint. On the other hand, there's a growing frustration from those who believe we're sacrificing economic opportunities in the name of unrealistic environmental goals. In British Columbia, for example, we've seen a dramatic loss of the forestry sector, with more than 2/3 of it disappearing. This, coupled with rising housing costs, has led people to leave the province. Around 70,000 people left British Columbia last year, many unable to afford the cost of living. This kind of economic downturn, especially in resource-rich areas, is a symptom of policies that prioritize ideology over practicality. Here's something I think is critical to this conversation. Trust. Trust in the system is arguably our most important natural resource. Without it, our economy and society can't function properly. The housing crisis we're facing is, in part, due to a breakdown in trust between Canadians and their leaders, their institutions, and the market itself. So, how do we rebuild this trust? It starts with transparency in how decisions are made and ensuring that policies work for everyday Canadians, not just special interest groups or corporations. When people trust that their investments in housing, in their community, and in the economy are safe, it helps build a more stable, prosperous society. So, what's the solution? It's clear that we need to reevaluate our policies on housing, land use, and resource management. We need a government that prioritizes the long-term well-being of Canadians, one that understands the value of our natural resources and how to use them to benefit the entire country. And more importantly, we need to build a system that works for everyone, from first-time home buyers to those looking to retire. We have the land, we have the resources. What we need is the leadership and the policies to make it all work. What do you think? Are housing costs being driven by government mismanagement, or is it just the way the market is evolving? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more updates like this and expert insights into the Toronto real estate market, make sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions about your next move, don't hesitate. Ask Marco. I see you in the next video.
Ask Marco